Welcome to Karate 360. You like karate, I like karate, we all like karate. You got something you want to talk about, you want to hear about, you want to know what's going on, how to get there and make your body better at the same time. You came to the right place. I'm one of the co-hosts, Richard Mosdell, with
Kalan Anglos, and let's fire it up. Karate 360, let's start the show. You will kick high and I will sweep low. From local to global, it's the thing that we love. Karate! Sanroku Maru. Hey, we're back in the studio, fresh off of a Toronto trip for you and a busy week for me. And here we go again.
Right on. Back in the studio. We're not flooded.
We're not flooded.
If you're on the west coast of North America, you're getting hit by rainstorms, flood storms, all kinds of storms, but we're safe.
Going crazy.
Yes. One of the parents was late picking up his daughter from the club yesterday.
Okay.
Sent us a message. I'm coming late. Ran in like bright yellow overalls, working for the city. Picked up his daughter's like, I've had to been clearing, tons of drain ditches and stuff because it's flooding all over the place. Taking my daughter, she's sitting in the truck. We got to clear like 20 more.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yep.
Yesterday I woke up, first thing in the morning, 6 o'clock, going to work, looked outside. Oh, it's not raining. I don't need my rain jacket. Whatever. Go to work. About 2 hours later, the skies just open up. It just starts pouring. I go, you got to be kidding me.
Rain apocalypse.
Yeah, I just stayed inside, stayed at work. Didn't even go to my car.
That's why I love our sport.
Yeah.
We can do our sport anytime.
Inside.
It's an inside sport.
Perfect. Although you could do it outside, and people do it outside.
I have heard that's possible.
It's possible. Didn't you tell me, maybe I'm just getting things confused, but didn't you say that in Japan, does it snow in Japan?
In northern Japan, yeah.
Did you do karate in the snow?
Oh.
You specifically went outside, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so I was near, where was I? Chetwynd, British Columbia.
Oh, that's not Japan at all.
4 or 5 hours north of Prince George, way up north.
Okay.
Minus 35 February.
That's where it was.
I was teaching this class. I was like university students. I had to travel up there, and they were just like, I don't know, just weren't giving it. And I was like, come on, you gotta give it hard. I'm gonna take you guys outside. And they just started laughing at me like, no, going outside minus 35, you just die. You just die. I'm like, no, I'll show you. And at the end of the class, kicked open the door, ran outside. One of my friends, snow up to my waist.
Started doing kata?
Kata, just Kobudo training. I'm like,
nice.
Look how strong I am. And then I remember my instructors, my first instructor was standing at the door and he was just taking pictures of me. And someone said, why are you taking pictures of them? I said, well, I just wanted the final pictures of before they die.
You gotta have something.
They're gonna die any second.
That's hilarious.
I want the evidence. And then I remember I looked literally in 5 minutes. I looked down at my hands and they were blue. They were blue. And I was like, oh my God.
I better go back inside.
And I crawled back inside and I laid on the floor. I think I laid on the floor of 20, 30 minutes with excruciating pain.
Lost a couple fingers.
Almost.
There you go. We used to do beach training, which I think is quite common for a lot of clubs, a lot of different styles, beach training. But we used to go to the beach, do our kata, do our moving basics, and we'd go into the water. And if it was cold, we'd be freezing. But part of it is you just kind of try and get over it. And then at the end of the training on the beach, everybody runs and jumps in and does the plunge.
Cool.
Yeah.
We would do a beach training and then we would spar with the water up to our knees.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Throwing each other down and splashing. And
nice.
We looked horrible at the end. Horrible, but it was fun.
It's all right.
It was fun. Now we're really getting into the busy time of fall and the year and events. It's unbelievable how many events. There are events lapped on top of events, lapped on events.
Events on events on events.
There are
events inception.
That's right. I've got a whole story about that movie.
You do?
I do. So I'm in Japan working hard, and the Inception comes out in the summertime, and we have this huge group of students coming for a homestay. So we put them up in an old Japanese inn, Western Japan near the airport in Narita. And they're all going to be in bed by 9. The innkeeper's going to look after them. And
the innkeeper?
The innkeeper, yeah.
Sounds like something from the medieval ages.
Oh, totally,
the innkeeper.
And then he's like, Sensei, you're free tonight. You can go drinking, you can go whatever, right? And I'm like, I haven't seen a movie in 1 year. He's like, if you walk down this road for 20 minutes, you'll pop out and there'll be a movie theater there and you can see a movie. So I Googled it. And I'm like, oh, the movie Inception's coming out. So great. So he goes, okay, go for it. So I'll take care of the students and I'll call you. If there's any problems, jump a taxi and come back. I'm like, great, you're awesome. So I start walking like for like 2 hours. And I go down the road, I'm like way in the middle of nowhere, and I pop out, and there's a massive movie theater, and it wasn't 2 hours, like an hour and a half. I got lost. And I made it just in time to catch the like 11 o'clock showing of the movie. I watched Inception, hated it.
Hated it?
Hated it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. There's a scene in there at the beginning where he's like, I knew this was a dream because that carpet has a slightly different, wool thread, like a 300 wool thread than a 200 wool thread. And I thought the only way we would screw that up is because, we were in a dream state. I was like, wow, the level of detail. And I mean, you have no plot holes after that. If you have a plot hole, your movie's sunk.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's like a gazillion plot holes. I'm like, wait a minute. If you're at the level of like knowing between 300 and 200 thread count of wool for a carpet, you better be on the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie is going to have to be dense.
Yeah.
Anyway, it drew me crazy. Anyway, it's time of the year.
How do we go down that rabbit hole?
So if you are a recreational athlete or working at your club, if you're just getting ready for your provincial or state, or you're going to go to like a world championship next week. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Or we have Parvin from the club going to the world championship. Leaves tomorrow morning. Crazy. To Spain. We'll talk a little bit about that later on today, but also as the results come in. It starts on what, Wednesday? Next Wednesday?
I think it starts on Wednesday.
Next Wednesday or Thursday.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So let's get into my notes on the summit.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of things we can chat about.
That's right. So last weekend was the Karate Canada Summit, which was, like you said, just kind of a meeting of the minds in Karate Canada, talking about high performance to right down to coaching and officiating and absolutely everything. And you were there.
Absolutely. It was really good. It's kind of like, I think lots of different countries have this conference where it's like a kind of like a brain trust.
Yeah.
Sort of 4 things I guess were happening. It was 2 world champions that got invited in to do the
your training, right?
kata and kumite training.
Yep.
So anybody could go to it, but also all the national team coaches were there, almost all of them. And then there was high performance meetings, like how high performance is done, how it's planned, what to be thinking about, how people become gold medalists. That's really at the world level. There were sort of like admin meetings, like on how to run an organization, how to run a PSO and club, that sort of thing. And then there were the representatives of the provinces in Canada having like roundtable discussions on just ideas, not agreeing to anything, but just ideas for the future and how karate's moving and it's changing, and then getting presentations and stuff. So really, really good things. So I can share with you guys a whole bunch of stuff. And this is just random order. And I want to get your take on this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So one of the co-founders of our club here and national team coach, Craig Devlin, he has been doing a high performance master's program at the University of British Columbia. And he's been doing a project on how to be a WKF gold medalist.
Yeah.
So you ever seen the movie Moneyball? You must have seen Moneyball.
Yeah, of course I've seen Moneyball.
Okay, you take the word baseball, put karate, and you've got sort of the same thing.
Yeah. We talked about it actually on my podcast. We talked about his project and kind of how he's going about it, and really cool stuff. Keep going though. Yeah.
So, so he blew everybody's mind away with like this, like 165 slides.
Yeah.
Like, here's how someone medaled like for the last like 8 world championships every level. Here's someone who medaled at gold, and here's when they first showed up before that at the world level and got on a podium.
Yes.
And so he gave us a lot of really cool stuff. And some of this stuff, some people might know, but it was neat because what you've got is a sports scientist, kind of like yourself, plays on evidence. And a coach plays on experience and gut feel.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The art of coaching, playing all the different factors.
For sure.
Yeah. But when you're an analyst, you really just have evidence.
Yeah.
You may have theories and suspicions and, based on what you've seen. So 85% of the gold medalists turn over at the world level.
Okay. So 85% of people that medal don't medal
the next round.
Okay. Interesting.
Remember, we kind of read that at the last 2016 World Championships?
Yeah.
So it's called Podium Volatility. So any other sports of like such volatility? What about baseball? Is it always the same?
It's usually the same. It's usually the same. And then they have like rebuild years is what they talk about, where you just kind of get rid of trade all your good players for young players and then build them up type thing. But yeah, the turnover is definitely not high as 85%. Usually the top teams in most major sports stay at the top for several years.
Yes,
And it takes a while to build up, the lower teams and so forth. And it's the same, like the mainstream combat sports, that kind of thing too. Most people at the top stay at the top, and you kind of got to build yourself up.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So, it makes, I think about podium volatility, that for me raises a lot of questions. For example, is there officials volatility?
I see what you're saying.
Right?
Like, because that's going to definitely affect the outcome.
From an officiating standpoint, you're not going in there with a standard. You have rules and people get better at it. But remember, officials are flying there on their own dime.
Yes.
Their own expense. So what we're getting are very committed people who, they're volunteers, right? And if they don't go to every event, you're going to get slightly different application of the rules, of their eyeballs, especially when it comes to kata, right? Podium volatility. The other thing I was thinking is...
First question that comes to my mind is, what's the 15% doing to stay at the top? That's what I want to know.
Superstars.
Right? Yeah.
Well, that's a good question, because further down it says, one of my notes says 20% of countries that go to the WKF Worlds collect 60% of the medals.
I mean, look at some of the top. When we go through the results, you can see some of the same people at the top.
Japan's
Spain, always
Egypt.
The top. Yeah.
So volatility is really interesting. It means that in some ways, I think our sport hasn't matured yet.
No, I agree. Yeah. Still lots of growing to do.
Lots of growing. Are we, because it's amateur, because it hasn't reached the Olympic level, so there's not very many athletes who are carded who get government support.
Yes.
Someone makes it to that level and then just slides off out, disappears after, because they couldn't keep, life pressure, everything going.
Yeah, and I feel like since the Olympic announcement last year, a lot has changed. So now the sport hasn't really caught up to all the changes that have taken place.
No, what you said is really important. It is really good, because I remember in 2016 there was a policy at the Karate Canada level that they would just go to a few international tournaments that had really good depth of field of competition.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Now they got to go to them all.
Just go to them all. Yeah, you have to. Yeah.
So, first time medal, the WKF men's was like 24 years old. Female was 22.
Okay. It's first time reaching podium at the world level.
That's right. 24 years old. This is average for men, 22 for women. But for the Olympics, it's 24 for men, 28. Oh, so 24 for men and 28 years old for women.
Now, what's that for? That's for all
Olympics,
all sports.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Interesting.
And ages have been getting older.
Yeah, I believe that for sure. I remember when I was growing up, I don't remember exactly who said it, but somebody told me like the peak years for karate athletes is like 24, 25 years old. And I was quite young and I didn't know a lot of that. Wow, that seems about right, I guess. But now you look at a lot of the athletes and they are older at the top level. They're older than 24, 25. Some of them at the world level, you're getting closer to 30, maybe a couple older than 30.
No, absolutely. So. I remember 2008 world champions were people in their 40s.
Yeah, so there you go.
In kumite.
Yeah.
Obviously in kata you have a longer career span.
Yes.
But that was interesting. So you're getting older. So the athletes maybe, does it mean that their strength and conditioning is getting better? Or 10 years ago it wasn't as prevalent, or 20 years ago? So they're fitter, they're stronger,
smarter. How they go about it.
There's less injuries. They're able to do better injury prevention because they're training better and smarter.
For sure.
That to me would really pop out. Maybe it's more expensive. So an athlete who's younger can't afford to do the events.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe more pressure to go to school than to compete. I know for sure in North America, a lot of athletes quit their combat sports. I think Wrestling Canada has 400 or 500 high school kids at the high school nationals and like 100 at the senior nationals.
Wow.
They're huge cuts.
Yeah.
Right? What else? Domestic competition strong domestic competition is the best way to produce a world champion. For example, in one country, someone in a year can get to the same developed level as it would take someone else 3 years in another country.
Sure. Yeah. Depending on coaches, training.
Yeah, like pressure, like opportunity.
Training partners, opportunities, competitions in a year.
Better competitions to go to.
Yeah. Funding.
Exactly. Let's see here. 18% of athletes make it to the WKF podium twice.
Okay.
Only twice. 18%. Okay. So again, there's that volatility.
Yeah.
So it was really neat. Like Now, here's a cool thing of being at the summit for the Karate BC High Performance Plan that we've been working on the last 2 years. I was literally ticking off boxes about what they were saying, that because we've already recognized it. For example, like a wider funnel of athletes going towards nationals is going to produce more athletes and a better competition.
Been talking about that for a while now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We have to recognize that selection means deselection, taking athletes out of the system. That is actually right in the competition plan.
Yeah, like selecting one athlete to go on takes
somebody else out.
Yeah,
so the longer you can keep people in the system, the better it is.
For sure.
That's why, like in the old BC competition system, like you would register in March and go through like your local little zone tournament in April. Then you had to be on the BC team, go through your fall, and go to nationals the whole next year. You've literally, especially if you're a junior, your age and weight can't change for a year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And you can't change and then if you have PKF coming up, that's 4 months
everything,
after that.
Yeah.
So for 18 months, and then Worlds in October. So a year and a half, you can't change your age.
Yeah, or your weight.
Or your weight.
Yeah.
You know, so it's got to be closer. And so developing a stronger domestic competition system is a really good way. And I think it doesn't mean going to 1 million tournaments, but that's really true if you have a really strong domestic system. Now you think about it, like in baseball, like, you know, the MLB.
They're very good, yes. Major League Baseball, very good.
Okay, NHL.
Yes.
NFL.
Yes.
NBA.
Yeah, the Big Four.
Big Four.
There you go.
They're strong domestic system.
Yeah, especially at the grass level routes, for sure. Yeah.
In sumo, there's only one professional sumo league in Japan, but there are lots of foreigners who go into it, and because that's where the money is.
Okay, really?
Right? So you think, like, you know, if Dodge City was the place where the best gunslingers in the world slung it out, everyone would go to Dodge City, right? So sumo, if you want to make money, make a name for yourself, you go to Tokyo, you go to Japan, dive into the sumo system.
Sure.
Right? So I think it's the same. So if you have a really strong domestic system. All right. We get to some other ends. Video replay. What do you think about video replay? You got to use it a little bit.
I like the video replay for sure. I think it needed to be, we talked about it a little bit after nationals last year, but it needs to be cleaned up a little bit more. The time between, you know, deciding for the video panel to see if it actually scored and that whole system. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but I think it's a good system to have for sure. And you've seen all major and even minor sports incorporating video replay now, because your eye can only see so much, right?
Yes,
as a referee or as a judge. So you need to have something there to score a point if a point was supposed to be scored. I mean, especially at the high level, you need it, I think.
The WKF senior level, they say it takes about 15 seconds.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
By the time they throw the card up
to the time they get the decision, that's not bad for sure. I mean, it definitely seems longer, I think, when you're in the coach's chair.
Well, I think in Canada, for sure, WKF level different. Yeah.
Okay.
I heard
and that'll get better. I mean, this has only been around for a year, so it'll continue to get better as the whole system improves.
I heard that there's a university that's going to come to the Karate Canada Nationals next year and actually analyze if the video replay really gave the athlete more points and it led to a change in the outcome.
Okay.
I think for sure. We've seen some matches where it definitely happened.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I even coached some matches where it was the video replay won the match, which meant that athlete went through repechage, which means they were able to fight back and wound up getting a silver medal. So, yeah, I think for sure.
So one thing about video replay is if athlete knows it's happening, then the video replay is assisting the athlete with the second score sometimes. So this is what some national team coaches were saying, that one athlete scores, the other athlete scores. The referees the referees go with the first thing they saw, but then the coach goes, yeah, but my athlete also scored.
Yes.
And they check and go, oh, they did. And because now they used to have first person to score cancels out the other person scoring, but now they allow to give scores on both sides.
Yeah.
So that video replay.
Yeah. So that's happened several times.
Yeah. So athletes might use a strategy of trying to sucker the other person to throw a technique and then score after.
Yeah.
But at the junior world level, they won't start using video replay.
Yeah.
And so that means you have to make sure you score first. That's what I told Parvin tonight.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right. I heard you say
there'll be no
that.
video replay. You got to score first.
Yeah.
You know? So
It's got to be clear and cut. Yeah.
Exactly. Now the next one, I don't know if it's public knowledge, but it will be in like 6 days.
So you're breaking news right now.
Breaking news
on the
and you didn't hear it from me.
Okay. So hear that, people? It's breaking news, but not.
This is from Spain.
From Spain.
Someone from Spain.
Okay. It's probably Antonio Quintero.
I didn't say his name.
Damien Quintero.
It's somebody in Spain has been telling the entire world of 182 countries in the WKF this knowledge.
Okay.
I'm going to share with you.
Break it to us.
Of which people
From Spain
will be experiencing.
This is big. This is big.
If anybody wants to know who broke this news, like where it came from,
It was Spain.
The leak, Spain.
It's Spain.
It's Spain.
It wasn't us.
Wasn't us.
Spain.
I'm just sharing the leak that got to me
From Spain.
from Spain.
Okay. Now that we got that out of the way.
Okay. Just don't want any backlash.
No.
From Spain.
From Spain. Are you going to tell us?
Really?
I'm sorry, we can't tell you.
Not sure if I can do it. There are other karate styles in the world in the top 4.
Okay. That's not breaking news.
They may be presented at the WKF Junior World Championships in a kata seminar.
Okay.
They may be Shorin-ryu and Kyojin.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means. Don't ask me. Talk to Spain.
Ask Spain.
Ask Spain. But we do know that one of the largest Kyojin groups in Japan joined the JKF.
Okay.
Specifically because of the Olympic thing. They knew there was no way Kyojin was going to get any there on their own. So they joined. So they're getting their athletes who are competitive to know the WKF system rules and also the Kyojin rules.
Allegedly.
No, that's true.
Oh, that's true.
We
We can say that with
that
conviction.
is on the JKF homepage.
Okay. Not from Spain.
But not from Spain. But that means that there's pressure. Shorin-ryu is one of the famous original styles from Okinawa.
Mm-hmm.
So there's pressure from Okinawa and Kyojin to include their katas in the WKF.
Okay. Interesting.
What do you think about going to a competition? Like, there's a Kyojin kata.
I think it'd be a lot of people wouldn't even know the difference. I don't think I've never actually seen a Kyojin kata, but I think I'm assuming it probably performs. Looks very similar to. No, you're shaking your head. That's a hard no.
That was not hard no. It was just an eyebrow raise.
That's more of a subtle no, I guess.
And I have Kyojin friends. Okay. Don't get me wrong.
Well, I mean, it's great. Gets more people in the funnel.
That doesn't
right?
mean Kyojin people are going to start fighting their full contact system in the WKF.
No.
That's not what we're saying.
Because it's still WKF rules.
No, if it's Kumite, it's WKF rules.
So I think it's great. Like I said, put more people in the funnel, get more athletes, get more eyes. I think that's good. But at the top level, I would suspect that some of these proposed styles from Spain probably won't perform very well. I think that's fair to say.
Yes. Now, I love the idea of these katas coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do Wado.
Fair.
And if you and Kyojin, like when you look at it being performed, like the kata being performed, it does look a little bit like it has a Shotokan base, right? Here we go. We're just looking at some videos here as we're talking.
Kyojin kata.
That's right. But the gis are different, so they have to change that.
Well, they run into the ring.
Yeah. Some Kyojin tournaments, they actually let the person have their pant legs under the heels.
What was that?
They go up and tell the name of the kata.
Oh.
So the Kyojin, they'll run up to the judge's table really close, say the name of the kata, then run back to the middle of the performance area and then do the kata.
Or maybe just stand there.
They may do a minute or two of meditation to start.
There we go.
Yep.
Now she's ready.
So the gis tend to be a lot bigger. And you can see that.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like a kata. It does look like a kata.
Yeah, the kinetic chain is a little bit disjointed.
Non-existent.
Okay. You said it from him. Protest letters can be sent to
Spain.
Kalan Anglos. That's right. Yeah, the kinetic chain's not.
Yeah,
really
see,
there.
it's not gonna win a WKF.
So I'm more than happy for them to join.
Absolutely.
Because then we can get up with a Wado kata and make it to the gold medal round.
There we go.
That's my dream.
Okay.
Okay. So that's that. Everyone else is like, man, did you guys go? That's my fault. Apologies.
Blame Spain.
Blame Spain.
If you learned nothing else from this, it's Spain's fault.
What's the island that's trying to break away? Catalina or?
Sure.
Did you read the news?
No.
Read the news. They're trying to break out of Spain. There might be a war. Yeah, and then let's just talk about world global news. This ties into it. Okay, so if you want to qualify for the Olympics, it looks like, and they're going to announce in a couple of weeks, most likely that you're going to need WKF points, ranking points.
Makes sense.
So where before, if they were just going to a couple tournaments, just whatever the strongest ones were, athletes were, then you're getting some points. But now you need points. Like you need points.
Yeah.
Like, come on, give me some points.
Yeah.
Points.
Give me them points.
You could go to 10 events a year. If each one costs you $5,000. It's $50,000 just to travel, just to get WKF points.
Crazy.
Yep. So the other thing is 2018. Did we talk about this? 2018 K1 Premier League only top 50 athletes.
I don't know if we did talk about that. Oh,
So
yes,
that's
we
a
did.
rule.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So Series A, underneath that,
Yes.
you got to get points in Series A, be a top athlete, and then you can get into the Premier.
I like that for sure. That's like kind of like the soccer or European football
Yes.
approach. Yeah, I like that.
Premier League.
Yeah, that's right. Premier League or Champions League.
Champions League.
Yeah.
What was it in Japan? There was like 2 Premier Leagues for high school and then like 3 or 4 series under that.
No, I think that's good.
So that's going to happen. But that means that an athlete may have to miss domestic, like national tournaments so that they can get those, because points are going to be so important.
Sure.
So lots of stuff there. Now we're talking a lot about, world level competition. Very few people go there. Lots of people listening in, but we got to be fans of this stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We have to be fans. We have to know about it. And so I just wanted to share some stuff with you guys. The only other thing I had to, there's a lot of other stuff, but something for everybody in every club. This is just the responsible coaching movement from Coaching Canada. Rule of 2.
Yes. Yeah.
You guys use rule of 2?
You guys as in?
University. Do you guys talk about?
Never.
The university don't teach anybody how to teach. They just figure you know it.
That's right.
You know it.
No, never talk about it.
Got your master's? You know it.
Good enough.
Teach.
Throw in there. Go
in there. Go sit with some female students by yourself in a lab.
Tell them what to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Rule of 2. That means 2 coaches should be with 1 athlete, or a coach and an adult, the child's parent was an athlete. Obviously never a coach by themselves. And what's interesting now is if you're a member of your national sport federation, especially in first world countries, and the coach screws up, whatever, does something wrong at the coaching level in their club, if they haven't been trained by the national federation can sometimes get sued for negligence.
Sure.
For having them as a member. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now,
that's how it works sometimes, I guess.
Obviously we've got to make sure better people are in there. Now in business, we also have a rule too, like whenever you send out a really important document, make sure 2 people read it.
Yeah.
But rule 2, some sport organizations have a rule 3. Now for all you coaches out there, when you want to have a talk with your athlete, have another coach there.
Yes. Yeah.
Protect yourself.
And we incorporate that even here domestically
totally.
as well. Yeah.
Totally. In our club, any important decision is made with when it's with a member or parent or whatever, 2 coaches must be present.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's really clear what happens. And we never let unless they are, athletes of the age that can work in the club.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's just rule 2. Just remember that, rule 2.
There you go. So what was your big takeaway? Your one takeaway from the Karate Canada Summit?
My takeaway is that whether you are just training in karate, kicking and punching, or you're going forward, there's a place for everybody in our sport. And it's important that whatever our place is, we don't block somebody else.
Yes.
Just because you're not interested in high performance doesn't mean that your club should not be interested. Or you're only interested in high performance. What about when your athletes retire? What have you done for them?
Yeah.
We talked about clubs that have closed in different parts of the country, and there was no succession plan. Like there was no succession plan. So actually, you really good question you just gave me. That's probably your best question ever today.
Ever.
Okay. So I feel my role, and I've been thinking about this a lot this whole year,
There you go.
but it really came home this weekend, was my job is to train people how to do my job.
Mm.
Because my job, I feel, is to be, a coach or an instructor should, what's the rule? Best athletes should get the best coaches to get the best result. And it should be, we're coaching, we're athletes, we're teachers, we're instructors for the athlete first, not ourselves. So people at the summit who had themselves first,
Yes.
will feel the pinch.
Yeah.
Right? So in Alberta, the board there, they sign their email newsletters, Alberta first. Like Karate Alberta first. They did. If you're there to get something for yourself, that doesn't helping the association. And
for sure.
Hooped, right?
Yeah.
And that goes with my feeling of, we talked about last week, of tribes, right? You talked about tribes last week?
No. Well, we've talked a lot about
tribes. Anyway, so that was my big takeaway. My job for the next 5 years is train people how to do my job so that we can keep whatever my hands are helping out with, whatever. Did that sound weird, right?
What are you helping out with? What are you doing with
my
your hands?
ability, my enthusiasm to make things more accessible to more people at whatever they want to do, right? And train people. Yeah, that was my.
There you go.
So we train people to learn karate, but we need to train people how to train people how to do karate, how to do it well. What's the only evidence that you're a good coach in high performance is if you get people on your provincial team.
Yes, if your athletes move forward.
That's the only true evidence.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, there you go. All right. Do we want to hold off on those last two? I mean, we're already past our mark.
Done. We got so much stuff for you guys. We're gonna hold it off till next time.
There we go. Works for me. Let's talk a little bit about upcoming tournaments real quick. We know we have the World Cadet Junior and U21 Championships in Spain. Blame Spain. October 26th to 29th.
When's Parvin competing?
Parvin competes Thursday. That would be the 26th.
At like 6 a.m. our time?
6 a.m. our time. I think it's 3 p.m. Spain time. So that's next week. Keep an eye on that. We will also be talking about that. And then Series A Okinawa is November 25th to 26th. And also don't forget, we will be doing our podcast early next week, Richard, because I will be in Winnipeg.
That's right.
You have to cover the class next week too.
I can do that.
There you go.
Can do that. I'll just do a fitness workout. You want to hear a funny story before we get off the air?
Finish with a funny story.
So Elias shows up late for the teen outlet class last night, like 2 minutes.
Unacceptable.
So I saw him run into the door. He's running around the corner to get into the dojo, and I'm like, we're just doing our intro talk. I said, everyone start doing squats. So he starts doing squats. He comes around the corner and I go, 95,
he did.
96. And he looks at it like, what? And I go, oh, okay, 100, man. That's awesome warm-up, everybody.
All right, Elias.
Elias, you got to do 100. And so he looks at me, and he knows me really well, right?
Yeah.
And he looks at me like, he's totally kidding. He's totally kidding. He's totally kidding. He's totally kidding. And I'm like, no, start doing squats. And in our club, you have to do 10 squats if you're late.
Yeah.
Right? So he starts doing squats. And I just walk away. I don't tell him.
Let me know when you're done.
And then so like I come back 10 minutes later, I go, did you do 100 squats? He goes, Irvin came over and told me to stop.
That's funny.
It's just out there.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Karate 360 podcast. My name is Kalan Anglos.
Richard Mosdell.
Let's sign off. Sanrokumaru. Bye for now.